Hey guys, welcome back to another Chain Gang episode. I'll be doing a redraft mock today just to kind of see where players are going and what the redraft league. We mainly talk about dynasty a lot, and redraft kind of doesn't get touched in this podcast a lot, but it's still very important. We still do redraft leagues. It's just not as relevant right now because so many things could change. But a lot of leagues are starting to do their redraft leagues around this time is when early start, and then later until August is when the actual drafts start. So it's a good uh, tool to have to be able to see what players are going for, kind of, and see where they progress and see um, the players that you want are going. um, but like I said, these videos, they're not the best tool, because really the best tool is to simply just draft and do as many as you can, because the players that you want, it's so different. And so you may have you know people in your league that just love someone way more than is normal, and they will reach they will pick whoever they want, and reach for that player when they can get them 2-3 rounds later. So this is kind of just like a gauge, and I'll be doing a draft versus a computer, and I'll randomly put myself um, into a position. I'm not really gonna pick because it's kind of like dishonest in a way. So I'm gonna get started here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna randomize this draft order, and it gave me five. So off the bat, we're already kind of a little earlier than middle of the road for um, this draft, which is not a bad spot. Me personally, I love later round picks, just for the simple fact that a lot of players, the player that you always draft in the top five never is in the top five. I mean, unless you're getting Devonte Adams and you're picking him top five, but normally you wouldn't. You'd reach for like a running back, or if this is a um, two quarterback slash super flex league. So it's two quarterback spots technically. So you got one quarterback, a super flex spot, two running back, two wide receiver, tight end, defense, kicker, and then seven bench spots for this one. Um, but the problem with the top five, those players never normally, they either are they either get injured or they're inside the top 10 but not the best. And when you're having these early picks, if you can trade them, I would personally, and I would, in a 12 team, I like 9-8. I'll take anything behind here, just because I like the double in the second round and snake drafts. But having a top five pick, it's easier to trade, obviously, because everyone's like, oh, I want a top five guy. But those people who actually have been doing this for many, many years know that having a later pick probably is the best, because you do end up getting the player that would be number one or number two or number three in points every year. No one predicted that Cooper Kupp was going to be himself. So everyone missed, in the top five, which is an example, just to throw it out there. But we can go ahead and get started. Just kind of see. I have some players that I favor than others, and everyone has their list. So I'm just going to kind of play it by who's available. And this is a redraft again. This is not dynasty. So 12 team snake PPR. So here we go. 15 rounds. Let's start. Okay, right off the bat, three running backs have already went, and a wide receiver. Justin Jefferson, that's a pretty good pick, especially getting a fourth. He's been very consistent the last 2 seasons he's been playing, and I don't see him slowing down. So him at 4, great. Derrick Henry, I probably would have drafted 1 or 2. I mean, he's always up there. I don't think his injury is that significant. And Jonathan Taylor is probably everyone's 101, but again, he's one of those players that could have an injury or just not do what he's supposed to this season and just not be the guy that everyone was. Derrick Henry seems to be the guy that is it every year, and CMC, that's another question mark. You don't know if he's going to play. So it's kind of scrambled, but still going relatively similar. I love Austin Eckler. He's a sleeper in a lot of these leagues. He always gets his points. He's top 5 last couple seasons. So I like him here. I'm not really too big on Cooper Cup. I know he finished first. And Dalvin Cook's, he's guaranteed to miss 3 games, 4 games a year. So if you're needing players, but for PPR, and this being a redraft, I think it's pretty safe to say to go with Eckler here. That Chargers offense is really electric, and I think they're going to do a lot better. Kind of moving myself out of the way here. Okay, so quarterback already went. Oh no, never mind. Tight end has already went. Okay, so we have Jamar Chase, Adams, Harris, Cook, Kelsey, Mixon. That's kind of a reach there. I would not go Mixon in the first round. And Dalvin Cook, that is another risky player. I'd much rather have any of these wide receivers. Travis Kelsey still going in the first. I mean, he's been in the first for the last couple seasons, but I don't know if this is the year I'm going him. So the last 3 picks in the first round are not the ones you want to go with. Someone who's a safe bet, and I'd rather put my money on Diggs, Swift, maybe Lamb, not Tyreek. Chubb, I mean, he's pretty consistent as a runner, probably the second best rusher in the NFL as far as running back. First is obviously Derrick Henry. So I'm here telling me to go Mark Andrews here. Don't really know if I want to do that at this point, but this is a 2-quarterback league, and I anticipate the turn being quarterback, and me having my first choice at quarterback here isn't a terrible option. But just going to skim through here of the you see these running backs here, they're all kind of shaky, not players that I really want to grab in the second round. And then wide receiver, Debo kind of wants to limit himself, so I don't know if he's going to have the same points as he did last year. AJ Brown, I'm not huge on. He's on one of the worst passing teams in the NFL right now. Mike Evans, my boy, I don't know. Keenan Allen's been a secret top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football for a couple of years, but I think I'm just going to go quarterback here just to play it safe, because I'm pretty sure if the turn isn't what I expect, then it's going to hurt. But you can't go wrong with going quarterback. So no quarterbacks were taken. That's kind of shocking. But no worries. I could still grab a decent wide receiver or tight end if I needed to. Later in the rounds, I love Kittle. He is labeled as questionable. I do think he could be, a top wide receiver next year, but I think with this turn here coming up, a tight end isn't something that I'm looking for. Wide receiver, there's so many good ones left. I can wait. I think I need to grab a running back that I think has a chance at, doing better than what he's normally. And I think that's going to be Cam Akers this year. I think Cam Akers, if he stays healthy, obviously I'm betting on that. Wasn't last year, obviously came back, didn't really have that great of a season at the end of the year, but still, being on the Rams, and they've had a history of good running backs with Todd Gurley in that offense. I think he could be very effective. Darrell Henderson was still very good, and we all think Cam Akers is better than him as a running back. So I wouldn't be, if you took David Montgomery here too, that was good. I'm not really big on Antonio Gibson, and I'm definitely not taking a rookie this early. So and Saquon's injury prone. So I'm probably going to go Cam Akers here. See, this is when the quarterback started going. Let's see. Okay, Kittle went. Okay, a lot of more wide receivers. It's probably even split between wide receivers and running backs that went. So, got a player here. I think in my next turn right here will be wide receiver, tight end. And I think I'm going to go ahead and grab Jalen Waddle. I think he's a very good superstar, fast slot guy that can be – I think he's going to have another good season this year. He did really well last season for his first season. So I think I'm going to go Jalen Waddle here, and then I'm going to try to, on the turn, get either Hawkinson, Waller. Hoping for Hawkinson more, but I'd be fine with Waller. But let's see. Let me get Waddle here. See if any tight ends go. Quarterback should go. Ooh, Waller went. Quarterback. Another quarterback. So it looks like I was around too early on the quarterbacks, but that's fine because we got the best one. And then tight end here, no brainer. I got to get a tight end. I'm not going to be one of those guys that doesn't have a tight end. I'm gonna go Hawkinson here. He's not even gonna be there when it came back to me. So, and I think this round I'm gonna go quarterback again to kind of double down on it being a super flex league. See, Dalton Schultz went there. Definitely would have gone Hawkinson over Schultz, but the computer, I mean, would have went Hawkinson over Schultz. This is a redraft league, so age doesn't really affect my draft strategy here, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Tom Brady here. I know I'm a Buck fan, blah blah blah, but having Josh Allen and Tom Brady, the Bucks pass a lot. I don't think. I mean, Jalen Hurts on the worst passing offense in the NFL. Russell Wilson's on a new team. Players, it's a long shot, and I'm not a Denver fan. Denver fans would go at this point here. Dak Prescott, not great last year. If you had him, I had him on my team. Big games that I needed him to win was like under 15 points. So I think the only guy you could go Aaron Rodgers, you're a big Aaron Rodgers guy, but how much the Bucks pass the ball is just outmatched. So I'm going Tom Brady here. Just get my second quarterback out the way. Casey got grabbed because I know he wasn't top of the list, but again, the computer could reach and I could get screwed and have to take someone I really didn't want at that position. So Tony Pollard is now only a running back on sleeper. He's no longer a dual player anymore. So that's not good if you had him in dynasty leagues, but I mean, I do need a wide receiver, but the running back list is starting to look pretty slim now. Kareem Hunt is a great backup, great flex guy to have. So is Tony Pollard. But I think Kareem Hunt gets used in the passing game and it's perfect for PPR. And so would Cordell Patterson, both his age. I just fear that it's gonna be one of those guys that you could buy in on and then immediately it just not be the same person as he was last year. And Kareem Hunt's been very consistent when he's on the field. Injured last year, but I think he could do it when he's on the field. He's really good for fantasy football. Another rookie went. 1, 2, 3. 3 rookies have went so far. 4 now, with London going. Rashad Bateman. A lot of people are high on him for some reason. Okay. I don't need to worry about a quarterback, running back. I really want to get James Cook here, but I'm going to go wide receiver and hope on the turn I can get James Cook. That would be my player that I really want to sit on. But another dude that I love this year, and he's been last year I could bail on him too early. I got rid of him way too early, and I ended up playing him in the playoffs and losing to him. So I like Brandon Ayuk. I don't know why. He's just someone that produced right here. We can look at his numbers last season. Okay, if I can look at PPR. So I sold on to him. I got rid of him too quickly. Near the end of the season, he was very consistent. And this is numbers you kind of would like to have. This is like minimum points you would like to have as your wide receiver. So with this being here and Tyler Lockett, I normally would go him, no question. He just doesn't have a quarterback right now. And Chris Olave, rookie. I'm not really big on rookies. Don't normally draft them unless it's like the only person left. And I'd rather grab someone I've seen. And that's Brandon Ayuk. If I can get James Cook on the turn, I don't know why they went Devin Singh. Dang. That sucks. Dang, that sucks so bad. James Cook. I wasn't going to get both. It was either or, and I really needed a wide receiver. So James Claypool, I also like this year. I think he's going to do really well. Christian Watson, being one of the few targets that Aaron Rodgers has, could be a breakout guy that I might grab here because I do need running backs or wide receivers. And Chase Claypool, I've seen him, but there's no guarantee. And Christian Watson being a rookie, I would also like to have Russell Gage being the third slot or being the third wide receiver for the Bucks. AB did great last year until he left mid game, but I think I'm going to go Christian Watson here to get my third tight end out the way. I don't think there's any running backs that I want to reach for because this will be a long turn here. Oh, if Damian Pierce can stay here, it'd be another player I'd like to grab at the running back to sit on. But I'll go Christian Watson here. I think he'll do really well if given the ball like he's supposed to. They don't have a lot of options. Claypool went and Russell Gage went. So looks like even though Russell Gage was a little bit down, looks like they kind of reached for him because he's supposed to have a big year. But okay. I think I'm good for wide receiver now. I can kind of just look at overall who's available. Kadarius Toney, if he's healthy, it would be a really good option. I don't know why people are bailing on James Robinson so much. I mean, I like that he's falling because I think he could be a sleeper pickup. I mean, you're kind of betting that Travis Etienne is going to mesh and do really well with the Jags, and really no one does good with the Jags but him. So I don't know. There's a rookie here. I could go wide receiver again, get a rookie. There's not really many tight ends. Rob's out. He's no longer playing. I do like him as a sleeper pickup, Gerald Everett, being on the Chargers this year, having a good chance to get the ball a lot. I don't need a quarterback. Is there any running backs left? I think I'll go Damian Pierce. I think he's going to be the starter eventually for Houston out of Florida. I'd like to grab as many running backs as I can. Just because Jahan Dotson, rookie. George Pickens. Ooh, George Pickens. I might get him. Might have to reach because this is a turn, so I'm able to reach here. Jarvis Landry, don't really know how I trust New Orleans. I do like Jarvis Landry, but just not New Orleans. I got to see what they can do. And then Jahan Dotson. I do not know. They have him at ADP. They're projecting him 159 points. Jahan Dotson 139. Pickens 133. I could see why they're picking Jarvis Landry to do really well. And I'm not opposed to drafting him here. It's like what do you do? I might want to grab a quarterback now that I kind of think about it. No. Okay, so no. Obviously, can't really do that here. No. Jameis Winston in fantasy football is great. Just a long turn. I don't know who's going to go. I'll go Jameis Winston here as my backup quarterback. Okay, so 2 quarterbacks went. Would he have been available, though? Might have reached. Don't know. 3 quarterbacks went. He was right between Matt Ryan and Mac Jones. So, but you never know with the computer. So, I think I might go ahead and grab Marlon Mack too, because if I have Damian Pierce and he doesn't end up starting, I have the actual guy who's meant to be the starter here. Jahan Dotson and Jarvis Landry went right. If I can get Pickens, didn't get Pickens. Okay. I'm wanting to grab wide receiver. I think DJ Chark might have a comeback year this year. Parker, don't really know what he's going to do in New England, so I'm not really looking at him. Tim Patrick, third option. For Russell Wilson, Do I want to grab a tight end here? I think. Oh, Tyler Higbee is here, and Gerald Everett. Tyler Higbee being on the Rams is nice, and I need a kind of a backup tight end here. Um, tight ends are all starting to go too. So I guess the last one. I mean, I'm unsure about Gerald Everett, but I am for sure set that Tyler Higbee as a backup tight end will be what I need in case something happens to Hawkinson. Matt Ryan, Rob Gronkowski went for some reason, and Robert Tanya, so he wouldn't have been there. So, but Gerald Everett's still there. But I don't want to grab another one yet. See any running backs that I need. I think I'm done with running back. I think it's just going to be drafting wide receivers at this point. John Michie. I like that pickup. Even though it is the Houston Texans and I have two Houston Texans players, I'm not big on the Houston Texans, but they have been able to support a 1,000-yard wide receiver. And Brandon Cooks, sleeper, has had a lot of years of consecutive 1,000 yards, regardless on whatever team he's been on. I think the only year he didn't do it was on the Rams. But I do like that as a backup option and someone who could come onto my team and just secretly do well. Not sold on him. I don't know why anyone would go Tolbert here with the weapons they have already in Dallas, especially for redraft this year. Alec Pierce, maybe. They don't have a lot of. I mean, everyone's high on Michael Pittman, but I'm not. But Alec Pierce, I don't really know much about him to even really comment on him. Jameis Crowder, really no. KJ Osborne, no. Sammy Watkins, that's not even worth picking up there. So I think the only guy that has real upside for this late in the draft is John Michie. So I know it's technically a reach, but at this point in the draft, it's like, why pick up someone who's doesn't have a good, ceiling. So Gerald Everett got picked up. Don't need a quarterback. For my last pick, I mean, I might go Alec Pierce here. Like I said, he's another guy that could have upside being on a team that really needs, talent at that position. Not really seeing someone that I want to grab here. Okay, looks like I'm going to go Alec Pierce. I just want to read about him from Cincinnati, 22. If it'll load. 6'3", 211. Not bad. This is kind of the rounds where you kind of want to grab players like Michie and Pierce. So that's the end of this one. We can take a look at my roster here real quick. Didn't really get everyone that I wanted. Every time I wanted to grab someone later, they got grabbed. So, okay, I think we have the best quarterback duo in this league. We have a top running back, a potential top running back with Cam Akers, Jalen Waddle, and Brandon Ayuk, a very young core wide receiver group. And then with TJ Hawkinson also being young, Kareem Hunt, Christian Watson, Damian Pierce, Jameis Winston, Marlon Mack, Tyler Higbee, John Michie, Alec Pierce. And then you always draft your defensive kicker late if you're doing those kind of leagues. But I've been kind of getting out of the defensive kicker. Kind of seems like a waste of time. And every time you do one, if you're not owning your own league, the person who does do the kicker or defense doesn't really do it well. And the defense and kicker end up being just worthless or end up deciding games, which should never happen. So, anyways, I would give this like a B plus. We can look at. I haven't really looked at the other teams to really know what if our team is better than their team or not. But we can go ahead and start at 1. Already off the bat, they're mediocre duo. I mean, they have Joe Burrow, which is great, but then they have Jalen Hurts. Not really big on Jalen Hurts because his fourth quarter points just suck when you're in fantasy football, and it's halftime and he's got 2 points, and then you look at your game and he's got at the end of the game he's got 20 or an 18, and you're like, he barely got by. He had a whole half to give me 16 points, and it's just a headache that you really don't want to deal with. And then they have CMC and Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is a very efficient running back for the Bucks. Fits it really well, even though we do throw the ball a lot. I think he could be a top 15 running back. And then you got Christian McCaffrey. Who knows? I'm not really going to say this team is 100% good. They have a potential good wide receiver with Juju being on the Chiefs now, but Mike Evans is pretty consistent on a year basis. But in fantasy football, you don't really want to start him every week. But I'm looking at it. This is the team that took James Cook. Other than James Cook and James Robinson, maybe Kadarius Toney if you can stay healthy. Those are only three players I like. Rondale Moore, Noah Fant, and Parker and Jamal Adams seem like a waste of space on this bench. Like you're never gonna start them. But I mean, you might start Noah Fant the 1 week Darren Waller's not there. But and having Tyler Lockett as your slot, this team is like a C minus. I don't think they're really going to go anywhere, but let's see what this team is. Already off the bat, kind of top heavy with Russell Wilson and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, who knows what Russell Wilson's going to do with his new team, but Zeke, okay, yeah, it's good you have him as a running back 2 and not a running back 1 like most teams. That's really good running back 2, and having Debo and Brandon Cooks. Now that right there is a very good wide receiver core. Brandon Cooks, I was talking about him earlier, very consistent every year. He's numerous. Like I think he's had like 8,000 yard seasons. Just looking at his numbers from last year, those are pretty solid numbers. Especially, this is their wide receiver 2, so this isn't someone that they're expecting to be wide receiver 1. This is their wide receiver 2, and you got Debo, who kind of made his reps shorter, but could still be a top 10 wide receiver. We'll see. We'll see how the new offense is with him not playing running back, because he did get a lot of points from being utilized a lot. But we'll see. And then he has a player with a good high ceiling with Travis Etienne. We'll see how that meshes. We don't know. James Robinson could still be that guy, and Etienne could not. Probably, has a chance to either A, doing really good, or B, not really meshing, because it is the Jaguars. It's hard to be a good fantasy player on the Jaguars, so we'll see. And then you got J.K. Dobbins. Didn't play last year, obviously, got injured in the preseason. But I do like their bench. I like Chris Olave. Good to have someone like a rookie. And then Jamison Williams. Tyler Boyd, pretty good bench player. Mac Jones is your backup quarterback. And then, if CMC gets injured, you got Chuba Hubbard. So this team is pretty solid. I give them like a B plus, A minus range, top teams, so one of the top teams so far. Lamar, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones. I like Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones as your running backs. Is a really good wide running back duo. Lamar, not really big on him. And then you got DJ Moore. I'd like to see him at a wide receiver 2, not a wide receiver 1. But you have him here, which is not great. But, I mean, he could do really well. We'll see with whoever plays quarterback. And you got Elijah Moore. Once again, I'd like to see him at like a flex. He'd be a flex guy you'd want to have, not really a wide receiver 2. And then AJ Dillon at your flex spot. Did this team even draft? Okay, they did. So Devin Singletary won't be starting for this team, but this team doesn't have a good flex at all. I mean, really just put Elijah Moore here, and you need a wide receiver. Maybe if you can hit on George Pickens or Jahan Dotson, that's really the only chance this team has is needing a rookie to do really well. So I'd give this about a C plus. Don't really like the quarterbacks that they have. Matthew Stafford, great quarterback. Antonio Gibson, okay. You have a rookie there. Is there a running back that they're hiding? They don't even have a running back, a backup running back. Kenneth Gainwell, and okay. All right. Well, this team is already not doing great. You have AJ Brown on one of the worst passing offenses in the league. You do have Justin Jefferson though, which saves this team a lot. Um, this is not good. This is great. This is great. This is great. This is good for a flex, but he's going to be here, and he's probably going to be here. So with Mari Cooper being here, and he doesn't have Deshaun Watson. If he had Deshaun Watson, it'd be great. But I'm gonna give this team about a B minus. I don't. It's just so many question marks with Amari Cooper, AJ Brown, Ken Walker. It's just too much. I'm actually gonna change that to a C. I'm gonna give it a C. Not really big on this team at all. They need to make some trades to play a lot of trades to people that would actually take that crap. You're starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Okay. You got a good, rookie, not rookie, but a good sophomore running back here. Oh, yeah, let's say okay. Yeah, so okay, and then you got Breece Hall. Okay, it's probably the only running back that'll be okay with being there on your starting lineup. But we'll move on. Cooper Kupp, he could do the same thing. That might save this team. Keenan Allen, great. Not great at tight end, and then you got a great flex spot there, and then you also got Michael Thomas to kind of switch out from because he's injured right now. But this team doesn't have another quarterback, so this team's already failing. You can't have Trevor Lawrence as your starting quarterback. This team looks really good, other than tight end. But because they have no quarterbacks, it's probably why. Maybe you can trade Cooper Kupp away and get a decent wide receiver and a better quarterback. Because in a league like this, playoffs or even just trying to get into the playoffs is going to be tough. So I'm going to give this team a C, just because they don't have a good quarterback, or they don't even have a second quarterback. Just going to let me go down to the others. Don't know. I guess not. We can look at Team 7 right here. Team 7, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. Okay, you went running back, middle. I'm not opposed to this pick here. I probably would have went Najee, but going a wide receiver here with Hill, I probably would have went quarterback or maybe like running back, maybe Aaron Jones, maybe Javonte Williams. But Tyreek Hill, I'm not really sure. I think it's all just media hype. I think he's not going to be himself. But they did save themselves in the third round going Mahomes. They did grab a top quarterback. And then they finally got a running back, which is, pretty solid running back 2. He could play running back 1. But then they didn't get another quarterback until the 8th round? That's going to hurt you. You really need something to happen to Zeke, or he just gets more reps for some reason. You have Jerry Jeudy, flex. Great. You have rotational between these 3 players right here, which is great to have. But you went Mike Gesicki. Okay. Might be a sleeper this year. Could do halfway decent. But this team is already looking, I'm going to give it a B minus. They got a lot of great wide receivers, good quarterback. I'll give it a C plus because they also don't have a second quarterback. So I don't really know what this draft strategy was for this computer here, but you don't have a good running back group at all. I mean, you have one, but that's about it. And then you have one good quarterback. You have Justin Fields, and then your tight end isn't good. The only thing you have good is your number 1 quarterback and your 3 wide receivers that you start. And even the bench running backs don't even know if they're going to see the field this year. So I'll give that a C plus. It's not great, but You could move around to make something. Adams with the eighth. Um, okay, you went wide receivers. Fine. I would have went Najee. Then you've got Nick Chubb, great running back. And then you went Saquon. I guess we'll see if he can stay healthy. And then you went Michael Pittman. Again, like I said, I'm not high on him at all. I think it might have just been a one season thing and different quarterback, different, situation. So we'll see how he does. And then you got Kyler Murray. I like Kyler Murray here. It was good you grabbed him somehow in the fifth. And I think in other leagues he might go here. But you got him in the fifth. And you got a pretty good flex position. Probably it sucked that you couldn't get a better tight end and you had to go Goddard, but you got Goddard. It's all right. And then you got some real good bench or potential flex wide receivers here with Garrett Wilson and Russell Gage. That's pretty good. You got Trey Lance. I don't know if he's even starting at this point, but I mean, it might end up being in your favor soon. After that, it's really no one that really has much potential at seeing the field that much. So I'm gonna give this like a B minus, C plus. It's got some good, like right about here is where I like it, and then just these two for backups. But here and down is just it's just not great, and you don't really have much rotation other than at wide receiver or flex with these guys. You needed somebody like for running back to have. I know you have CEH, but I'd like to see someone else there. Okay. So 9. They went Najee back to back. They went two of the youngest running backs stars in the NFL with Najee and Swift. Great. I like these picks. Not bad at all. But then you went T. Higgins in the 3rd. And then you went DK in the 4th. Okay. So, like, I don't understand why so many people are high on T. Higgins. If it's, I would wait to draft him. And then you went DK who doesn't have a quarterback. It's not a good wide receiver core. I mean, Allen Robinson, I think, is going to have a great year. So he will take this spot. I still think DK could do something more than T. Higgins will, or vice versa. But this was a saved, your wide receiver. If you didn't have him and this is what was left, I'd be really shocked if you had a good, year. But Allen Robinson here, and then because you went 3 wide receivers, you couldn't get a good backup, which hurts your team, especially whenever you aren't going to have one of these guys. With Harris, he's like a 10-point running back. He's not really somebody who's going to go over 20 points or even near it. So, I mean, then you drafted Deshaun Watson, and he might not even play. Pat Firemouth, okay, that's your tight end, starting tight end. And then you drafted Gronk. So this team, I'm going C minus, D plus. This is I started off good, and then after that, it just got terrible. Terrible. I mean, he's great, but he's on a terrible team. He has potential. Other than that, no. Your starting quarterback is Zach Wilson. Yeah, no, D minus. Let's move this over here. Dalvin Cook, okay. Alvin Kamara, okay. Too shaky. A couple of years ago, you had a great team. But Cook, Kamara, okay. And then Terry McLaurin got paid recently. He's not bad. I like that. Herbert, great pick. Marvin Williams, or Mike Williams, sorry. Mike Williams. Not consistent at all. Not a wide receiver too. Don't know why you would draft him here. I would have taken Michael Thomas over him. I would take a Brandon Cooks over him. Holy crap. Yeah, no. Not a good pickup here. Dalton Schultz, that's, he got the last one. That's a top tight end. That's good. Could still be really good. Good you grabbed one before they ran out. This is useless. I don't think he's going to do anything. But you saved yourself a Hunter Renfrow. I think Hunter Renfrow is going to do better, way better than Mike Williams, and you grabbed him in the 8th. So, and then you got Sky Moore. Chiefs could have potential. You grab Tua as your second quarterback. He's not terrible. Irv Smith, don't really see him doing anything. Tim Patrick has potential. Van Jefferson definitely has, potential now being the third or fourth, but I think he's going to be used more this year. And then you got Sony Michel. So I guess it's like a C plus team. Um, too many injury prone players, not consistent players, and a little bit of too many question marks to be a top team. 11, you grabbed a tight end. Okay, and then you went wide receiver. You don't even have, just looking at this list, a top running back. I know James Conner finished fifth, top 5 last year, but just names of players. James Conner's not a top 5 player in real life. And then you did grab Dave Montgomery, who I think is a great running back too. So I think he's going to end up being the starter, and then James Cook. But in a redraft, Aaron Rodgers being in the 8th, you picking him up, great. That's actually a save pick considering you didn't grab one any earlier. Robert Woods, not huge on. G. Davis, no. Elijah Mitchell, no. Cortland Sutton, I am big on. I think he's gonna have a great year. Good wide receiver too to have. A sleeper. I'd like to see him better at flex, just for the chance that he's not as good as what he's supposed to be, but he could be, a top wide receiver with Russell Wilson playing now. Other than that, their bench doesn't really appeal to me other than Chark. Changing teams, I think he needs to show this year. He needs to really show himself to be a good wide receiver again. But I give this team like a C minus. Going Kelsey here, he's just not consistent enough anymore. I mean, yeah, well, last year he was okay, but I wouldn't buy him now this early. And then this team going Joe Mixon, dear God. Okay, 1 year and he's getting drafted in the first round. Okay, I mean, you have back to back. Maybe you switch them. It doesn't really matter what order, but okay, Stephon Diggs, it's all right. Then you went Kittle. Okay, that's not terrible. You needed a running back, but you didn't grab one, and you went Kittle. I probably would have went running back here instead of Johnson, but he's still good. And then you went Marquise Brown. No, I'd rather have CEH. I'd rather have Tom Brady. I'd rather have Michael Thomas. Him here, no, not at all. And then him here, not at all. Good pickup, potential. And then Dak Prescott is your QB1. Okay, might get you by. Michael Carter might be losing the starting role. So not looking good for your running back group. Christian Kirk could do well. Who knows? Jaguars again. Valdez-Scantling, who knows? Henderson, question mark. Mostert, we don't even know if he's going to be the starter. Herbert, I don't know why you picked him up. And then Ingram being on the Jacksonville Jaguars again, other Jacksonville Jaguars team. So it's going to be like a C minus. I mean, I think we have a top team in this league. I only liked a few of these teams, but I think, drafting 5th, like I said, I would much rather you guys draft a little bit earlier than that or later than that. Just because it's better to kind of grab later, trade back. If you haven't already picked, trade back if you can trade them, if you can. But I think I'm going to keep doing this, periodically, kind of see where players are going, kind of see as it changes every so often, just do one of these drafts, mock drafts, and just kind of see what changes. Maybe I can do 5th every time to kind of see what changes. I'm sure something's going to happen. Maybe Deshaun Watson plays, maybe he doesn't, and it boosts a lot of those Browns players up. Maybe someone gets injured in OTAs. I might do it around OTA time. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'd appreciate if you guys, like, comment, shared our videos. If you guys need us to do anything, we are always open. We check our DMs all the time. But if you guys want to hit us up about any ideas that we can do, we'll gladly try our best to do them. But like I said, I'm gonna do these videos every so often just to kind of see where players go. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.